Hey everybody, Bacon here, back for another deck pick of the week. So today we're not going to be talking, well, we are going to be talking about a specific deck list, but we're more talking about a general principle rather than like you should play this for that reason. So, so if you've been paying attention to Hearthstone over the past week, since we put out our last video, things have really gone downhill in terms of how the community feels about the game. Um, if you've been checking Reddit, you're gonna see a lot of posts saying like this game is so stale. It's in the worst place it's been in its entire lifetime. People saying how much they hate the game, how much they hate aggro shaman, how much they hate like the presence of the pirate package, the patches, and the small time buccaneer, all that stuff. And the other thing people have been complaining about is how rock paper scissors the meta also seems like the idea of aggro is beaten by Reno decks, which is beaten by rogue, right? Not always, but that's like the general idea. And whether or not this is actually true is secondary to how people are feeling. Blizzard put out a post from Ben Brode talking about the best deck in the game, which he didn't say was aggro shaman, but we all know it's aggro shaman, and how this best deck in the game, because there always is one, the best deck in the game is one of the worst best decks there's ever been. It's sitting at a 53% win rate. Overall, it's not a like it's not nearly as good as some of the other best decks. The example he gave was Undertaker Hunter, which was significantly better, like had a significantly higher win rate. A lot of people were really angry with the way he worded this because it sort of makes it seem like he's dismissing the displeasure people are having about the game because the stats aren't really matching up with how people are feeling. I don't question that the stats are correct. I don't think that they would lie to us about it. But you can't really just discredit the fact that people do indeed feel like the game is so terrible. And this is where we're gonna get into the general idea of the video, which is that the metagame is largely a construct of what people, it's completely a construct of what people play, right? And you contribute to the metagame. You, all of your friends who play, everybody you play against, they're all part of the metagame. And a way you can change it is just don't do the things you hate. Don't log on after complaining on Reddit all day and say, and then play aggro shaman, right? Just don't do that. Don't play aggro shaman. You don't need to play aggro shaman. The reason I'm sort of making this video is I was inspired by a comment I heard on the recent Rat Rant. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you check it out. It's a discussion on the game by Splices the Rat. Really cool content. I'll put a link in the description. And he was saying that part of the reason that there's been like very little development of the meta in the past while is because of the current Hearthstone Championship Tour system and how it affects pro players. So part of the Rats' argument was that there's been very little ingenuity from the pro community lately because of how the Hearthstone Championship Tour is structured. Now, for those of you who don't know, to get points and qualify for the championship tour, you have to do well on the ladder with high legend finishes, and you also have to do well in the the open cups that happen. And these open cups happen every day. You need to get a good result once a month if you want to remain competitive. And what this does is it really cuts into the time that players would use for innovation and just makes them have to grind like crazy. So like every month you basically have to win an open cup once a month and these are like large tournaments, like usually between 256 and 512 players in them. They can take like 8 to 11 hours or something if you win it in like the larger ones. Like it takes a really long time just to play in those. And then on top of that, you not only have to get to legend every season, you have to get to like the top 50 and stay there while other people are fighting for your spot. So like it's a really big time investment. And part of the reason people aren't innovating is because of how much time it takes to do that. Because innovation necessarily means that you are going to lose more, right? If you try something new, it's not going to be as good as what's already the best. If you try and build something completely new, you're going to lose a lot of games. You're going to lose many hours that you could have been grinding aggro shaman. And these pro players don't feel like it's necessary to make new things because they're getting good results by playing aggro shaman. Despite what people might say, it's a very skill intensive matchup, and the people who are best at it will get like a 65, 70% matchup in the mirror. So, like, if you're winning that many of your matches, why would you change? Why would you try anything new when this is working? And switching to something that's maybe like a nice meta pick or a counter to these decks isn't necessarily going to give you much, if at all, of a better matchup than you're getting in that mirror. Like you don't really get much better than that. And so it's a matchup that people are feeling like they can reasonably outskill their opponents. So why would they try anything else? It's just not worth their time to find something new. So they don't feel the need to innovate. So the thing we need to do as the not necessarily professional community, the enthusiasts of the game, but people who don't necessarily get paid to play it, don't need to compete in tournaments, don't need to grind open cups, is we need to be innovative ourselves. So I made something for you guys, which is a handy dandy little flow chart, which lets you know if you should be playing Shaman or not. So, are you currently trying to get Hearthstone Championship Tour points? If the answer is no, stop playing Shaman. If you do need to get HCT points, you need to ask yourself the next question. Are you so far behind that you need to grind a lot of fast games? No? Stop playing Shaman. If yes, go ahead, play Shaman, because the games are fast, you can outskill your opponents. It's actually a very good game for the pro community. A very good deck for the pro community. And this might seem simple, but like if we want the metagame not to be, quote unquote garbage, then do something yourself to change that. So the point of this video is we're just trying to encourage you all to try something new. Try something you haven't played before. And just enjoy the concept of deck building in general. Now, I don't mean deck building as in like, boy, I really wish that my homebrewed Reno Nazoth Hunter was a good deck, but it's a real shame that I can't play it in the metagame because Shaman's so OP. So OP that it ruins my fun. Now, we're going to put some constraints on this. So we want to do some deck building, but our constraints are it's going to be fun. So we want to play a fun deck, a deck that we enjoy playing. So, I mean, for me, things I find fun in the game are complex decision making, drawing lots of cards to increase the amount of decisions that we get to make each turn, and also like blowing up your opponent with huge numbers. Those are like my go-to things. Now they may be different for you. Some people might prefer playing aggro decks. Some people might want to play like hard control, stuff like that. But yeah, those are my three things. So I'm going to gravitate more towards like a combo deck. And what else do we want to do? So we want it to be fun. So define what you find fun with Hearthstone. And then we also want it to be competitive. So what do you have to do to be competitive in the current meta? You probably have to have at least an okay matchup against Shaman. And you probably have to have at least an okay matchup against Reno decks. So you need like at least one of those, preferably both. So to combat Shaman and Reno partially, well, to fit in the current meta, I have this deck list right here. This fits both of the criteria I'm looking for. I'm looking for something fun that isn't complete garbage. So for the fun factor, we've got our like Cycle Cthulhu package. We've got the Acolytes of Pain, Wild Pyromancers, Commanding Shout, lots of cheap spells, lots of Cycle, Battle Rage. I love Battle Rage. It's like my favorite card in the game, probably. And it, creates a lot of fun, interesting situations that are difficult to navigate correctly. So that's like my fun part. And then for the competitive part, it sort of like fits into that idea as well. So we're using the cheap removal spells and all the cycle and the wild pyromancer effects to combat aggro. And then we're using the big like combo turn to combat our control decks. So against aggro, we're just trying to remove their board as much as possible and set up our own, like set up behind Twin Emperors, stuff like that. And against control, we're just trying to cycle into our big Cthulhu turn and try and blow them up, preferably from like 20 or something, so that they're not they're not necessarily able to just like Reno out of it. So let me know what you think of this deck list. Let me know what type of things you find fun about Hearthstone, and what type of deck list you've come up with yourself. So yeah, let me know about those in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. So a lot of you might be saying to me right now, Bacon, what are you doing, man? Last week you told me to play mid Jade Shaman. Now you're telling me not to play Shaman at all, and that's not necessarily what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is play what you find fun. Now mid Jade Shaman, it's a really good deck. I think it's really competitive. If you want to keep playing it, keep playing it. But if you're burnt out on Shaman Stone, Heroes of Totemcraft, then there's something you can do about it, which is not playing Shaman anymore. And the more people who aren't playing Shaman, the less you'll run into it on the ladder. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.